All right, now we're talking about line graphs. We're talking about independent variables. We're talking about dependent variables. There's your independent variables question. Now, got a lot of different answers. Got a lot of them. And I want to clear them up and tell you what my expectations for these answers are. Now, one of my favorite answers was, what is an independent variable? And someone said the x-axis. I did not say where is the independent variable. You are correct. It is on the x-axis. That's when we graph it on the line graph. But that's not telling me what the independent variable is. That is equivalent of saying, what is the Statue of Liberty? And you say, it's in New York. It doesn't tell me anything. It doesn't answer the question. It doesn't say that it was made by a French sculptor. It was made out of copper, and it's green because of the interaction with the environment. It was actually a different color when it was made, and all that kind of stuff. And where's it? I don't even know what island it's on anymore. I want to say Ellis Island, but it's not Ellis Island. But for the independent variable, when you think about independent and dependent variables, we're talking about control. What does the scientist have control over, and what can the scientist only record and watch and record? Now, the independent variable is the variable the scientist has control over. And can change during an experiment. So if we had an experiment where we wanted to see how much of one solution we needed to add in order to change, say we add 5 milliliters to the other solution and nothing happened. Then we add 5 more milliliters, and then nothing happened. Then we add 5 more milliliters, and nothing happened. Then we add 5 more liters, and it turns red, or milliliters, and it turns red. The independent variable part of that is the 5 milliliters that we kept adding. We added 5, so we had a total of 5, then 10, then 15, then 20. And then the dependent is the result of the changes made to the independent variable. So that's what's measured as a result, basically, of the experiment. So in our really basic explanation, if I add 5 milliliters and I see no change, I would say 5 milliliters, no change. The 5 milliliters would be my independent variable because I have total control over that. And a lot of this independent versus dependent, independent we have control over, dependent we don't have control over. We watch and we measure, and we look for changes, and we look for everything that happens. That's what we do in the experiment. We control part of it, and then another part we don't control, and we measure it. The measuring part that we don't control is the dependent side of it. The independent side of it is what we have total control over. So 5 milliliters in, nothing. The 5 milliliters is in the independent variable. The dependent variable is the recording of nothing. No change. Then we add 5 more to get to 10. No change. Independent is the 10 milliliters that we have in there. The dependent is the no change. We had 15 milliliters, or we had 5 more to make 15 milliliters. That's your independent. The change, it turns blue. All right, the blue is the dependent variable in that part. So we record down that it changed to blue. So in this case, the dependent variable would be color. It was clear, clear, clear color, or clear, clear, clear blue. that would be our dependent variable. The independent variable was the amount that we were adding, because we were adding the same amount each time, because we had control over what amount we added to it. Now, I got a lot of really interesting answers for line graphs. I'm going to give you the short and sweet answer. It's most accurate on graph paper. When you're doing it by hand. It's best on a computer or a calculator. The calculator that can actually do it. And thankfully, ladies and gentlemen, we have the TI Inspires in here, which is nice for us because we can actually do line graphs and all that stuff on the calculator itself, which is awesome. So that's something that we would be able to do. So any questions on those? This pretty much ends everything from Chapter 2. From now on, it's all Chapter 4. So everything that came before this, the rounding and the sig figs and this, was Chapter 2. Now